You know that feeling when you try to meditate? You sit down, you close your eyes, and then your back starts aching. Your leg falls asleep, or you just get that impossible to ignore urge to fidget. Well, today we are digging into a really powerful idea from the classic text Zazen. It says that before you can ever hope to free your mind, you have got to prepare your body first. So let's break down exactly how you do that. The text really doesn't pull any punches here. It hits us with this core truth right from the get-go. And it's so simple, but so profound. You just can't find mental serenity if your body is in a state of chaos. I mean, think about it. That little nagging pain, that restlessness, that's the very first wall you hit when you try to get still. So the path to inner peace, it turns out, doesn't start with the mind. It starts with getting your body stable and comfortable.
And this is the goal. This is what all the physical work is leading up to. It's this fascinating state called sitting in forgetfulness. Now, it's not about ignoring your body or pushing through pain. It's about preparing it so perfectly that it just fades into the background. When physical sensations aren't constantly yelling for your attention, your mind is finally free to enter a state of dhyana, that deep, focused meditation that this is all about.
So here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to lay the foundation, the why behind all this. Then we'll talk about setting the stage with the right conditions. After that, we'll get into the real nitty-gritty, the posture and the breath. And finally, we'll explore the incredible things that can happen energetically when you get it all right. Let's dive in. So why start with the body? I mean, a lot of meditation practices tell you to jump straight to taming the mind. But this approach completely flips that script. It asks a simple question. How can you possibly quiet your thoughts when your body is constantly interrupting you? The very first step has to deal with the loudest, most persistent distraction we have, our own physical sensations.
And here's where we get this really interesting paradox. The text calls the body illusionary, right? Like it's just this temporary vessel. But, and this is the part that matters to us, the sensations from that body are 100% real. That itch on your nose, the ache in your knee, those are the immediate, in-your-face barriers to a quiet mind. So this practice says, let's tackle those first.
Okay, so if the goal is to get the body quiet, where do we even begin? Well, surprisingly, it's not on the meditation cushion. It's with the world around you. The text is super clear about this. Before you can work on your inner environment, you've got to get your outer environment sorted out. This is all about laying the groundwork for success. And it really boils down to three big things: what you eat, where you practice, and when you practice. Getting these right is like clearing all the external hurdles out of your way, so the internal work can be that much easier. Seriously, this isn't just a friendly suggestion. It's a critical part of the whole process. All right, let's talk diet, because the text gets very specific here. Foods like meat and dairy are seen as things that block the flow of qi, your body's vital energy. The reason given is that the proteins in them don't get fully processed, and this can actually lead to things like lower back pain and blocked energy channels when you're sitting for a long time. So instead, the recommendation is for light, simple foods, things that support your body's natural flow instead of gumming up the works. And what about timing? Well, the ideal time, hands down, is early in the morning. Right after you wake up, your stomach is empty, and your body's in this naturally relaxed, kind of half-asleep state. That makes it way easier to settle into stillness. If you have to meditate later in the day, the advice is to wait at least 2 hours after you eat, just to make sure everything's fully digested. Okay, so we've prepped our space, we've thought about our diet, now we get to the absolute core of the physical practice. And it has this incredibly powerful name, the subduing demon posture. Now, why demon? Well, in this context, the demons are our own restlessness, our pain, our distraction. This posture is designed specifically to subdue them, to calm them down, and unlock your body's own natural healing power. Let's build this posture together, piece by piece. First, the foundation. Your legs are in a full lotus, but specifically with the right foot placed on the left thigh first. Next, your hands form what's called the Samadhi Mudra, resting just below your navel. Your back needs to be straight but relaxed. You're looking for that sweet spot between slouching and being ramrod stiff. The head tilts just a little bit forward, which really helps open up your airway. Your eyes are half open with a soft, unfocused gaze about 5 feet in front of you. This helps quiet the mental chatter. And last, your tongue gently touches the roof of your mouth. Every single one of these details has a purpose. And when you put them all together, the text claims it creates a healing state that's even more powerful than deep sleep. So how long do you need to hold this thing? The recommendation is a minimum of 1 hour. And listen, this part is absolutely critical.
The reason for that persistence is that the most profound healing effects are said to happen in the last 5 minutes. So if you give up at minute 55, you literally miss the entire point of the practice for that day.
All right, so we've built the physical vessel. The posture is set. Now it's time to fuel it up, to turn on the engine. And we do that with our breath. This next part is all about activating the whole practice with a very specific breathing technique.
This slide shows you the crucial difference. Most of us, most of the time, are chest breathers. Our shoulders lift, our chest puffs up. It's actually pretty inefficient. What we need to practice is diaphragmatic or abdominal breathing. And here's the key. Don't think about pulling air in. Instead, focus on actively pushing your lower abdomen outward. When you do that, the air just flows in all by itself. Then you just relax and the air flows out naturally. No forcing it.
And here is a very, very important safety warning, especially for beginners. Do not hold your breath or pause between the inhale and the exhale. The text warns that for people who might have cardiovascular issues, this pausing can actually cause things like heart palpitations. So the instruction is simple and safe. Just let the breath flow in one continuous, smooth cycle, in and out.
So, you've got the posture down, you're doing the breathing correctly. What happens when these two things work together over time? Well, this is where we get to the real peak experience of the physical practice, the unlocking of your body's own energy channels.
So how do you know if it's working? How do you measure your progress? The text gives us a really clear benchmark. It's the ability to sit for 2 full hours without any pain or numbness. Now, this is achieved by mastering the posture on both sides. You start with the subduing demon version with that right foot on top to unblock the right side of the body. And then you'd switch to the opposite with the left foot on top to unblock the left side.
Now we come to what the text says is the single most important warning of all. It's emphasized like nothing else. Never observe the key. As you practice, you might start to feel these new sensations, a feeling of energy moving. And the temptation, of course, is to focus on it, to try to guide it or control it. The text is adamant. That is dangerous. You can actually misdirect the energy flow with your mind. The instruction is so simple but so hard. Just let it happen, but don't watch it happen. Be the container, not the director. If you can follow the practice correctly and you resist that urge to interfere, the text says a natural process will just start to unfold on its own. It's the opening of the 2 main energy channels, the Ren and Du meridians. You might feel a flow of energy that starts near your kidneys, climbs right up your spine, goes over the top of your head, and then flows back down the front of your body, creating a complete loop. But again, and this is so important, this is a result of correct practice. It is not a goal you force.
And this is the grand finale of all that physical work. When your body's main energy highways are clear, 3 different streams of qi from your core and your limbs are said to all converge at one single point on the top of your head. This is called 3 qi returning to the origin. And it's described as this moment of profound, sudden, aha clarity. The body is forgotten, the mind is crystal clear, and you have officially entered what the text calls the first stage of dhyana.
Wow, okay, we have covered a lot of ground. So let's bring it all back together and just summarize the most critical things to remember. Think of this as your roadmap to putting this all into practice successfully.
Here are the absolute core principles. First, persistence is everything. You have to sit for at least an hour a day. Remember the whole logic here. Unblock the body and the mind will follow. Really master the details of the posture and that diaphragmatic breathing. Watch your diet. Avoid the foods that block you up. Let any sensations that come up just happen on their own. Don't chase them. And finally, the golden rule, and I'll say it one more time because it's that important. Never, ever use your mind to try and observe or control the flow of qi.
So, we end with this question. Everything we've talked about today has been about preparing the vessel, creating a stable, quiet, healthy physical foundation. We've subdued the body's distractions, we've opened its energy channels. So with all of that essential groundwork laid, what happens next? What do we find when we can finally, without any distraction, turn our full attention to the mind itself? Well, that's where the next stage of the journey really begins.